Okay, so there is no good way to put this. It is going to be very difficult for me, and I'm sure for a lot of you guys who have been following my channel for maybe the past 4 months, it is going to be a little bit more difficult for you seeing that possibly the only content creator that you are following right now is no longer making videos. And I will explain why, okay? So I have written some notes over here that will help me express myself. And of course, just in case I forget some points or whatever, right? But anyway, let's begin. So my departure means nothing for the game because the game itself is great. So the game itself is still going to survive for at least the next 1.5 years. And in fact, I think it's only going to improve. So if you think that my departure is because of the game, that is completely incorrect. And you can actually check out because there's nothing wrong with your game that you love. So the game itself is very generous as it is Side Games creation, right? And I will continue to play the game. I will not stop playing the game because it is fun. It is fun for me. But I will just not make videos for it. So note that the reasons for my stopping only comes from a content creator's point of view. The game is beautifully crafted and I have a high bar to beat in order for me to even try a game out. And World Flipper is one of such games that actually caught my attention. However, for this case, I think Kakao is the main reason for my departure, or at least 80% of it. This is very important, okay? So I know I'm going to get a lot of hatred in the comments. Your feelings are definitely well-founded. And honestly, your unhappiness would then make me feel a little bit better because then I feel like I have made an impact in your lives. So feel free to say whatever that you want to say in the comments. I will read all of it. But please try to understand that I am no longer uploading content because of the time effort. It does not make any sense for me to continue producing videos anymore. There are still other content creators who are in the grind, basically Rate Up Gaming. And if hopefully I do not forget, but I will put his link down in the descriptions below. So again, like I said, this comes from a point of view of time and effort. Okay, let's move on to I have like quite a few points, right? I've written all of it down. Yes, I know I have like 10 pages, but it's actually just like 9 pages. I know it still sounds a lot, but it's not. So these are the things that I can think of right now. There's definitely going to be more things that I have not actually considered, but these things cry out to me a lot. Okay, so number one, there's quite a few points. There's 1A, 1B, all the way until 1F. Kakao is just a very bad publisher for World Flipper, so I think I should have added for World Flipper. So I feel like the game is just a side quest for the company. The company is just trying to milk whatever pre-existing IP there is from Side Games, whatever that they have created in the past 2 years, which is kind of scummy, right? Because they are a publisher, but they're not doing what a publisher should do. So here are the other points of point number 1, right? 1A, split server. So players around the world are artificially separated for no good reason. Huge games are able to do that because their player base is huge. And the genre makes sense for it. So like some games like Summoner's War, where it's PvP centric, you need to have multiple servers because eventually it becomes a point where it's super difficult for you to climb the ladder and people need to climb the ladder in order to feel fulfilled, especially in a PvP game. But okay, so World Flipper is a PvE game, 100% PvE. The only reason why other players are around are to support you. So the other players around are here to join you for your bells and are here to make you clear the run efficiently and for you to play with, let's say, your other friends so that you have a fun time. So that's the whole point of multiplayer in this game. So there's no reason why you want to separate your servers, right? So there are 30,000 players, about 30,000 players on the unofficial Discord, which cannot be tapped in to help or to get help from them, which is mind-blowing for me, okay? So people will be fine with the server resetting at UTC plus 0. People have been doing this for many years right now. Whenever there is a global game, the server just resets at London timing, and that's fine. It works out for everyone. So it doesn't really make sense to separate an already very tiny community. And next up, right, this is something that is quite important for content creators. There is zero marketing and advertising done for the game. So they have advertised a lot for other games, just not World Flipper. They've even advertised for games such as Moonlight Sculptor. Who even knows what Moonlight Sculptor is? Like, come on. If you can advertise for the game, you can definitely advertise for World Flipper. And also, players don't need advertising to enjoy the game, but content creators need it for the game to stay relevant. So with advertising, that's where the player base actually supports itself, stays above a certain amount, like at least somewhere where the game can stay afloat, and the audience is just consistent. But that's not the case for World Flipper. So in this sense, there is very little creator support. Creators need advertising to stay alive, or at least they need advertising so that their game stays alive, so that their videos stay relevant, blah blah blah, you get the idea. I don't understand why there is zero marketing and zero advertising for this game. It is a great game, I just don't get it. Okay, but anyway, next, no Kakao partnership program. This is something that is quite important as well. It's not just from a creator's point of view. It's not a selfish point of view. Yes, of course, if I'm a creator, I do get some benefits, but it helps with the branding. It also promotes free advertising via YouTube, via Bilibili, whatever. This is one extremely good way for you to not advertise your game, because if you have a partnership program, you will then attract other content creators into your game so that they can have a piece of this partnership program to not only build their own channel, but to also increase the player base. They can basically pull players from other games, right? Or maybe give light to this game so that other people are like, oh yeah, Wolf Flipper exists, and now that my content creator is playing this game, we can then move over. And also it creates a sense of community. So right now, it just feels very, very distant between the players and the publisher. Although it doesn't really affect most players in a sense, this is incredibly true for content creators. So if there's very little communication between the content creators and the publishers, it is very difficult to make content, because we do not know what's coming up next. The next 3 points are slightly smaller, but they still add up. So firstly, rushed banners. Okay, so most of you guys probably do not know, but they have actually shortened the intervals between the banners releasing. So they are shortening the interval times between each banner, and that creates a huge problem. Okay, so what they're trying to do is to play catch up with JP. I think the game wants to get as close to JP as fast as possible, and there are usually only 2 reasons why this is the case. Number 1, the main game is dying and the new game needs to catch up, but I don't really think this is the case. Or number 2, which is what I prefer, is that they actually just want to be on par with JP. But the thing is, if you want to be on par with JP, why don't you just release your game on par with JP and just create like a special banner that has every single limited units in one single banner and every single other unit in another banner? Why do you need to play catch up? But I kind of understand why they want to play catch up, because that's where they can make the most money. Like, oh, new banner, new hype banner, more people will spend, blah blah blah. But because of this rushed content, in a sense, there is not enough beats for players. And this is also because there is not a proper source of beat income. And this is not because of Kakao, this is because of how the game is developed. But eventually, of course, there will be more regular beat income. It is just not for now. And next one, we have no official Discord. So the current Discord that most players are in is an unofficial Discord. It is not the actual Discord. There is not a single staff from Kakao in that Discord. None. So this is a small matter to me, but it also creates this distance between creators and the publisher. It's another wedge in the problem. And they actually have official Discords for other games. So they have official Discords for Guardian Tales, Moonlight Sculptor, and some other games. So why not for World Flipper? World Flipper is a great game. And I mean, I have a lot of good things to say about World Flipper. Just why no official Discord? Okay, anyway, next. News alerts are rubbish. So this matters more to me specifically because I am just a part-time content creator. I have a permanent job somewhere that's drawing my main income. So I do not have a lot of time to invest into this game because it is not my main thing, right? For some reason, this game has terrible news updates. So we only get notifications when the update actually comes live. So like sometimes, we could get like some random events where we get free beats, but I will only know it when the event actually drops, unless I am actively searching for new news every single hour or so. But I can't do that, and I'm not going to ask anyone to scour the news on my behalf. I am not that selfish. So it becomes a problem with releasing new videos because I really want to cover every single thing, but sometimes it's just I'm way too late. And a lot of times that when I actually realize that there is actually a new event coming around, most players already know about it. So then it becomes like, then what's the point, right? And then it also affects the kind of videos that I can upload. So yeah, it's a little bit disappointing, especially for part-time content creators like myself. And next, this is a very, very important thing. The player base is falling significantly. So this, whatever that you're seeing here, it's the Galaxy or Samsung gamers. And last I checked, for 2021, the end of 2021, Samsung has about 22% of the market share for the entire mobile population. So we can go by the assumption that Samsung mobile gamers are also about 22% of the entire population. So probably the game started off with like 100 over 1,000 players, 130,000 players. And its half-life is about 1 month, which means that every single month that passes, the player base actually cuts in two. So right now, globally, there is about 20,000 players remaining. It's probably going to be a lot more than 20,000. It's probably going to be about 30,000 because there are other users. Maybe they are just strictly on emulators, like just playing on a PC, so they don't actually add to this number. So this drop in the player base, which doesn't seem to be ending at all. I mean, like in the past 1 month, we lost about another 20-30% of the players. It's going to affect me as a content creator, where 99% of my audience are probably existing players. I don't think anyone who watches my content are actually people who want to watch my content for me. Okay, I'm not PewDiePie. So I need to remind you again that the time value for creating content becomes a lot less worthwhile for me. I mean, yes, you can argue that it's very easy for me to record like a 15 minutes video, but to be honest, it takes me about 1.5 hours to make even a 5 minutes video because I try my best to come up with sound strategies, I try my best to come up with proper content. And of course, it takes a lot of time to edit my videos and create a thumbnail image. There is a lot of work that goes into just a 5 minutes video. And honestly, the shorter the videos, the longer it takes. The player base is really shrinking so much, my viewership is going down. In fact, if you want to have a good idea of what I mean, this is the last 90 days and this is not even the last 120 days because I can assure you that the last 120 days is a much steeper drop. Basically, my viewer rate has been dropping a lot over the past 4 months, and I see the trend continuing as the game continues to develop because in the last month itself, the game actually lost about 2,000 players. So the statistics here is actually very scary. A lot of you guys don't even realize like the things that I have to go through on a daily basis when I'm creating content. But the thing is, I'm not salty about it because it's either my fault, which I can work on, or it's probably because the game is not performing as well as it should, which is like, okay, then I will just cover other games, right? Anyway, next, which is I think the last point, is there's very little room for exploration. So this is one thing that hits me a lot as well. I think all these points hit me a lot, but this point is one of the biggest hitters. So JP exists, and the problem with JP existing is that people can always rely on JP for the best team builds, like whether is it meaningful to build certain units, or even what's the future for the game. I think that's one very big thing. So like, remember back then when New Year's Elia was actually an incredibly powerful unit for Golem EX? A lot of people actually didn't pull for her because they knew beforehand that she's going to be irrelevant very soon. People knew that with certain armaments being released, water skill damage is going to be trash until very long later, so they don't even want to invest in New Year's Elia. But that's the thing about gacha games, you don't really want to get spoiled so much, I think. I mean, there is a point where spoiling is nice, like knowing what's coming, but to have so much information, so much researched information and tested concepts that it basically becomes irrelevant for me to make content. I should just be like, here's a link to this article where you can read and find out more about what teams work and why you should not pull this very strong unit right now, because 2 months down the road there is going to be another unit that's going to completely outshine this unit. I am totally okay with the spoiler spreadsheet. It helps a lot with making content. It helps a lot with me telling you guys how to plan your resources. But the fact that the answers to certain questions are out there, it kind of rattles me a bit. I don't really want to be a mouthpiece, right? Like I said here, I don't want to be a mouthpiece or copy pasta for others. I don't just want to like, here's a video of this team working, and you can just refer to this video. It doesn't make sense as a content creator, or at least for me. I like to create teams. I like to think of team synergies, think of teams that make sense. I think that's where I get a lot of joy. So yeah, JP existing itself takes the joy out of the equation. But anyway, here are 3 areas where you can find the information in the future. Number 1, there is always Wasuku. You can Google that, or if you're in my Discord server, there is a link for it. Number 2, there is also the unofficial Discord. You can ask questions there. There are a lot of people over there who can answer your questions. And of course, thirdly, content creators, whoever that's left. But anyway, that's it for my rant. Now is the future of this channel. So number 1, if I feel like it, I will still continue to upload World Flipper content. I know it's numbered 0, but whatever. Point number 1, I will continue to cover games that comes from well-established developers and publishers. So Kakao is fine in general, but they are ruining World Flipper for me. So this channel is not actually going to become a dead channel. I am definitely going to find another game that I truly enjoy, truly love everything about it, the game itself, the publishers, etc, etc. And point number 2, my Discord server continues to run World Flipper channels. Feel free to discuss and talk to me about it. I am still going to continue playing World Flipper because it is a fun game. And number 3, there are other great games on the horizon that have caught my attention. Feel free to ask me, probably down in the comment section or maybe in a Discord server or whatever. But I will not talk about what those games are in this video, it's not relevant here. And number 4, you may see a dry period of uploads for now, until the day comes when I can showcase other titles and find a new home. So simply put, for the next 2 months, I think my uploads are going to be very irregular. But when a potential game comes around, I will definitely cover it and I will create content again. And hopefully the game is not that scummy this time around. But to end off this video, don't be a stranger. I'm still around here. You can always talk to me. You know where to find me on Discord. And I'm incredibly grateful for the viewership that I received on my World Flipper content thus far. I am eternally grateful for all of you guys, every single one of you who have taken every moment of your time to watch my videos and to even leave a comment down below. It matters so much to me. And it makes me feel good on a daily basis when I know there are people out there who care enough to come back to watch my videos. Yeah, I don't think I say this a lot. I don't even think I've ever said this at all. But thank you so much for being such an awesome audience for me. I'm sorry things turned out this way. I hope you guys continue to enjoy World Fever for the game that it is, and don't just take it that I'm not producing content and therefore you stop liking the game. Do what you want to do, whatever that makes you happy, and not at the expense of others. I think that's very important. And this has been free to play, by the way, and as always, I will see you in the next video.